Live from New York, it's the show that will not be mentioning Grady Dick's outfit. It's First Things First. Today, Wemby goes number 1. But one person here thinks he's not a lock for Rookie of the Year. And it's not me and my unwavering belief in Chet. Meanwhile, CP3, from Warriors foe to Warriors teammate, can he and will he thrive in Golden State if he even suits up? And finally, Josh Allen calls Aaron Rodgers the most gifted thrower of the football.
That was a nice throw.
Of all time? Ever. Okay, I want to get it right. Alongside Chris Broussard, I'm Kevin Wildes. Nick, are you upset that one other quarterback in the NFL was complimented?
Yes, absolutely.
That's not it. I would like some highlights from this decade if we're going to be throwing flowers around Rodgers.
Here's one against the Chiefs.
Fine. Yeah, okay, we can discuss it later. It's fine.
We start with the number 1 pick.
Who went? Who was it?
It was Wemby. You need to prep better. Spurs tanked and won 22 games and now have their franchise cornerstone. Here's Greg Popovich.
Because of all the hype, he'll have a target on his back. So more than O's and X's to begin with, we'll be most interested in setting a framework and an environment where he's comfortable, where he can be Victor. He's not LeBron or Tim or Kobe or anybody else. He's Victor, and that's who we want him to be.
Brew, what are the expectations for Wemby year 1?
Well, I love what Pop said, and he's obviously right. You know, he's not LeBron, he's not Duncan, but he's getting treated like that. Because what he said is we're building the entire franchise around Victor. And, of course, culturally, yes, you want him to feel comfortable. But X and O-wise, too. Like Pop, one of the things that makes him such a great coach is he's not a one-trick pony. He doesn't have his offense and, hey, Victor's going to have to fit into this like a Mike D'Antoni.
Sure.
He's going to adjust the playing style around Wembanyama's strengths. So you've got that. You don't have another big-time scorer. I mean, I know last year, Keldon Johnson, 22.
Just because team's going to get to 100.
Right,
so, yeah, exactly.
He's going to be the number 1 option. And they'll probably, I don't know what type of veterans they'll bring in, but I bet they bring in smart ones that know let's get Wembanyama to reach his full potential. So, honestly, I'm expecting good things this year. I know he's got to work on his three-point shot, but he is a solid mid-range shooter. He's got a post game. He's got good footwork in the post. He can run the floor. I'm expecting 20 points, 20 plus points.
Correct.
8 to 9 rebounds a game.
8
rebounds. I know, but I'm just saying, that might be a little low. We'll see. But I'm saying 8 to 9 rebounds, 2 to 3 blocks, which is huge in the NBA. So I expect him to have a great individual season, not necessarily make the playoffs because I don't know what veterans will be there, and he's Rookie of the Year.
Okay, so I don't think he's going to be Rookie of the Year, but that's more about the number of games I think he will or won't play and what I think Scoot's going to do in Portland. And we can talk about why I think Scoot's going to win Rookie of the Year when we get to, because we're going to talk about other guys in the draft in a bit. Brew and I, it's very odd because Brew, going into today's show, has been about as high on Wemby as anybody, and you guys have said that I am a skeptic, which I'm not. I'm just trying to set fair expectations. But
you got skeptic tendencies.
Our stat predictions were almost identical. So I said I think he will average 19 and 8, and I think a fair goal would be lead the league in blocks. I think he could lead the league in blocks as a rookie. Where I am...
So, if he hits those numbers, I guess the only reason you think he won't be Rookie of the Year is because he doesn't play 65 games, which is very possible in San Antonio.
Yeah, and because I think Scoot could be more points, far more assists, and not 8 rebounds a game, but close on the rebounds. I think Scoot could be 20 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists as a rookie. And so, but let me stay on him for a moment. His offensive game is a long ways away. And that's why I want people to pump the brakes a bit on what he's going to be immediately. Now, if the long-term projection's a whole nother thing. But the 3-point, I know we kept showing highlights of a one-footed three and a step-back three. The fact of the matter is this. In his career in Europe, he was under 30%. This year, he shot 5 a game on a shorter three-point line by a touch and was 27% from three. He also averaged in this league in Europe more turnovers than assists. So I think this 7'5" guy who now is going to be playing far and away the toughest competition of his career is going to deal with some offensive struggles. I think his defense will translate immediately because of his length and ability to get to shots.
I don't see the look. I'm not saying he's going to come in and light the league on fire and average 28 points a game, but he at his size with his jump shot, not that it's great, but it's good. It's better than Scoot's. Scoot is a bad shooter.
Correct.
27%. You just said 27% from three. That's what Scoot shot in the G League.
Right, but hold on. Can we talk about that for a second? So that's kind of my exact point. The knock on Scoot is he's not a good shooter. Wemby is looked at as this 7'5" guy that has an amazing shot.
Because you have different standards for a 6'2" guard and a 7'5" player.
Right, but as far as what they're going to do in 4 months when the season starts, do you I feel like America expects Wemby to come in as an above average 3-point shooter.
Well, no.
Go ahead.
Well, here's I lined him up against Shaq.
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead.
I mean,
go ahead.
Dominating physical presence.
Yeah.
Except skinny. But he should be able to dominate guys and shoot over guys. Just a little bit different.
Okay.
Shaq will go through you and he will go over you.
Yeah.
So these are exact numbers. So I'm like, why can't this be his expectation? These are my expectations. 23, 14, 3, and shoot over 50%.
Yeah.
You think that Shaq was a more refined prospect?
I think, yes. Yes, of course. I watched Shaq in the NCAA tournament have 10 blocks in a game. I watched Shaq immediately come into the league and be stronger than everyone and as agile as just about anybody. Wemby, to me, is an idea offensively that we have seen flashes of.
No, I think you're way underestimating him. And you're saying he's going to average, how's he going to average 19 points a game if he's got no offense?
No, hold on. I didn't say he has no. See, this is that.
Well, you called him an idea.
No, I said. Well, yes, I think the idea of him becoming this dominant, him being this dominant force is an idea. Shaq, there was a proof of concept to it. And so I don't think he's going to be bad off. I just said I think he'll average 19 points as a rookie. But the expectation and the standard of that he is going to change the league, that he is going to potentially, in short order, be one of the 10 best players in the league.
But
and in shorter order. No,
that's not his rookie year.
If by year 3 he's supposed to be an MVP candidate, which by the way, LeBron, hold on,
players have done that.
Right, LeBron was, Jordan was, Shaq was. I think those expectations are too high, and I also think that we have seen these expectations, the guys with expectations not nearly this high, number 1 picks recently, the expectations have really saddled them and burdened them. We have seen it repeatedly over the last few years. And so I'm just
You seem to treat Wemby like he's just a really great college player. This dude is special.
Okay.
But expectations, he's lived with those for a lot of years now.
If he's scoring 19 points, is he leading the Spurs in scoring? Or are they averaging 70 points a game?
What do you no?
Well, if you're saying I expect him to average 19 points,
that's an interesting question.
Like someone on the Spurs is going to have to score 22.
I don't know that he leads the Spurs in scoring.
Oh my gosh.
Again,
he's got. I mean, then what have we been doing?
I think you're in.
Hold on.
I guess
in your mind's eye, what was LeBron's averages his rookie year?
He averaged 21.
He averaged
20.9.
Right. So he averaged and I don't know if he or
I'm not to be super nerdy about it, but
LeBron didn't face the competition that this guy's already faced.
No, but okay. So then let's talk Luka. Luka, who won MVP of a league far better.
Well, better. In the championship round, this guy faced a team with several ex-NBA players.
I know, and on his team was a guy who went 7th in the draft. But that's we all know the league Luka was in was the best league in Europe. We all know that.
Luka
this
came
was
in
not
doing work.
Yes, and he averaged 20 a game. He averaged 20 a game. That's what I'm saying.
Do you think? But this guy is a better prospect than Luka was.
Not on the offensive side. I disagree.
He's a better prospect.
I flatly disagree. And so I think
he can
Luka
handle the
has
basketball. He can shoot it.
Okay.
He can get to the free throw line. He can post up.
Okay,
he's got good footwork in the post. He runs the floor.
That's the idea. That's the part that I'm saying is an idea. A guy who has a great-looking shot that in the last 2 years that we've seen him play, and again, I know he's incredibly young, shot 27% and 28% from three is not typically a guy we say he can shoot. A guy who averages more turnovers than assists is not a guy we typically say. He's not going to be the point guard.
And what you're missing is he's not going to be relying solely on his jump shot. Because of his size,
yes,
he's not going to have to. I agree, he's got to improve his jumper, but he's not going to rely solely on the jump shot because of the other things he can do.
So
he'll be able to score.
If Powell scored 20, I don't know how he's scoring 18.
Okay, well that's
what, like, Magic don't have a ton of offense. Powell came in as a rookie. Pretty good, stronger, I guess.
You're going to say the body strong.
Yes, of course I'm going to say the body. Of course I'm going to say you guys are acting.
They had the same views of Kevin Durant. He couldn't bench press 100.
I watched Kevin Durant score 30 a night at Texas. I watched it. I watched Kevin Durant at Texas be like, oh my God.
That wasn't the competition this guy faced. It's just a fact.
Okay, well, again, I'm not sure that I totally agree with you.
Man, our college game, even back then.
15 years ago, the Big 12 with Michael Beasley and Kevin Durant, those guys.
Beasley?
He was a great college player.
How'd he do in the pros?
I get it, but let's not spend the time there.
All right, go ahead.
I watched Kevin Durant, and to me it was like, oh, this guy is a guaranteed bucket in the NBA. Everybody understood that. I guess there was concerns about him getting hurt, like there is with him. But I think Wemby, this is the point I'm trying to make. I came out here and said, as a rookie, I think he'll win the blocks title. He'll average damn near a 20 and 10. I have him 1.2 rebounds off of 20 and 10. And the expectations are so high, you guys are like, that's crazy.
No,
you don't think he's that good.
You're not saying he's going to be the best rookie.
What? Yeah, I don't think he'll have the best rookie year.
Now, if he doesn't play 65 games,
I don't think he'll have the best rookie year.
All right, so here's the Blazers' plan. We'll turn our attention over there. We're going to try to build towards a future with number 3 pick Scoot Henderson. We're going to contend for championships with an aging superstar who's grown impatient after 11 years. Those don't work. Here's Blazers GM.
Are you kind of telling us that the chances of either Dame or Scoot being traded now are 0?
Well, in this league, there's no such thing as 0, probably, but I would say that my goal is to keep both of them. I already said that, I would love to see Dame retire a Trailblazer. I have 0 desire to trade him. I really hope this works out here.
I mean, I'm done with all this.
What, Wild?
Leave the show.
Why? Don't leave the show.
I hope it works out. What do you want to happen?
This is a mess. The question you were supposed to ask me, chances, because this is a turn for it. The chances of Dame being there at the beginning of the season, like any chance of him, honestly, as bad as it would be, there's a chance. Because clearly Cronin doesn't want to trade Dame and put what's best for the organization ahead of Dame. And Dame, I got to be honest, I don't think even after last night, Damian Lillard wants to be traded. I don't think he wants to be traded. Period. And I don't think anything's going to change that. Now, he may accept being traded, but do I think I might be wrong, but do I think he's going to come out and ask them or demand a trade? I don't think so. What happened last night that we all didn't expect to happen? We all thought it would happen. Dame, as you said the other day, isn't stupid. Dame knew they're not close to a championship, and nothing that was going to happen last night was going to make them close to a championship.
So I tend to agree with you. In fact, well, not I tend to. I do agree with you. However, I would argue for Dame's future in Portland, last night was actually the worst thing that could have happened. Because one thing,
but I just don't think they want to. Who's going to make the move?
Right.
I agree with you.
One thing that could have happened is they trade the pick for a veteran.
Yeah.
Right? They trade the number 3 pick for Paul George. Then no one would be talking about them trading Dame today.
Right.
He's there.
But
the other thing that could have happened is Michael Jordan could have picked the right player at number 2. He, of course, didn't. Even though Brandon Miller, God love him, he tried to get Jordan to pass on him. He did his level best.
No, he showed Jordan some heart.
Okay, sure. That's what it was. Okay.
If I'm talking trash to you, if I'm Michael Jordan, I want to see what you made. Are you going to crumble?
Okay.
Well, that's the goal. Are you going to show some heart? He showed some heart.
You probably would have done that if Paul George had talked trash to him, because that's his GOAT. But it's neither here nor there. So now all of a sudden Portland has a 6'2 guard, is who they took at number 2. Or number 3, pardon me. I, however, am not going to take that quote we just heard at face value, because I heard this 5 days ago from the new GM of the Golden State Warriors. Can we play it, please? It's Mike Dunleavy Jr.
We love having those guys here. Jordan, especially with his contract extension, plan to have him here for 4 more years at least.
Had him there for literally less than 4 more days after he said that. So sometimes guys say things they don't totally necessarily mean.
Okay.
The Blazers
smart,
can't.
right.
The Blazers can't run this team out there next year. They have to trade Dame. At this point, and this is where you and I are in total agreement, it shouldn't be. It should be about what Dame wants in regards to where he lands.
Well, not completely.
Not
though.
entirely.
Right. I got to make the best move for my
by the way,
franchise.
Brew, I hear all your media. I don't necessarily always hear all 3 hours of the Odd
You hear my
Couple,
media, repackage it into your own
No,
tape, and then
that is not true at all. But I heard you on Colin's show today say, and I know some people are throwing out Miami trades. There's nothing Miami can give them. Brew, can we show it to you again, please? I gave you a good trade yesterday.
Put it up.
Put it up there. That's a good trade.
Really?
Jaime
If I'm
Jaquez
Portland,
Jr. now
why do I
number
need
18?
Tyler Hero? I got Shaedon Sharp on the come. Everybody's forgetting about Anthony Simons, who's like 20-6 with the Blazers. When he doesn't average 6 assists, but their future backcourt is Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharp on the wing. I don't need Tyler Hero.
Okay, but what other trade is there? Because the Philly has no picks. Philly has no picks they can trade.
It's not just about picks.
Right, but Tyrese Maxey
They need more young players.
Hold on, Tyrese Maxey is not such a guaranteed player that if you're going to trade
20 points.
But you're not going to trade Damian Lillard for Tyrese Maxey and not get picks back, I don't think.
I'm also getting Tobias Harris, who, whether you look at him as a veteran or as you look at him as an expiring contract, and how about Boston with Jaylen Brown?
I don't think Boston's doing that. I would agree.
But if you're Portland, would you?
Yes,
I
said that yesterday.
I'm not going to be forced to make a trade with Miami just because Dame told me to.
Well,
does Miami have the best stuff to offer?
Well, but what if the team that has the best stuff to offer is non-viable when it comes to Dame? So
if he
Philly,
wants to go to Brooklyn. If he wants to go to Brooklyn and they have a better offer, because it seems like he might want to go to Brooklyn.
No, what I'm saying is, what if the team, I'm trying to think of a good example of it, but what if all of a sudden the Houston Rockets said, you know what, we don't want to be in the Jalen Green business anymore, and they give you the best package. Would they do that to Dame?
Mm-mm. I wouldn't look to send him to a bad team, but I'm saying there are contenders who I think can offer me more, as I mentioned, Philly and Boston, than Miami can.
Go ahead. But outside, if Philly and Boston trades don't exist,
and Chris Haynes flatly said, and Chris seems to be pretty close with Dame, that Dame has no interest in going to Boston. Yeah. Chris Haynes told Dan Patrick,
if they offer me Jaylen Brown,
you're just sending
he won't get used to Boston.
No, I feel like he's earned.
That's what I'm saying.
An unwritten no trade clause.
I also have to do what's best for my franchise.
You can't. I gave you 11 years here.
I'm sending you to a contender.
I don't want to go there. It's too cold.
Well, don't live there in the off season. I mean, I'm just saying, come on, this is a business.
I understand, but then, Brew, don't you agree?
What does that Miami trade do for them? I mean, okay, let's say they do that. What does that do for them?
It gets them Tyler Hero, who was sixth man
How
of the
good
year,
are they?
Well, they're rebuilding. They don't want to be good. They're not trying to win right now.
Well, I'm not talking about championship. Tyler
you have a guy
Hero
who
is
in 5 years
repetitive.
is going to be
He's
the
repetitive.
answer to Jovic.
I've
We
got
all know
3
that.
perimeter scores already in Sharp, Scoot, and Simons. Now I'm bringing in Tyler Hero. He doesn't play defense.
You can repackage Tyler. Tyler Hero has value in this league. Do you agree with me on that? So you can repackage him and send him somewhere. Listen, I had been saying Dame in Philly for a while, so I also like the Maxey part of it, and you know how much I like Maxey. They truly, though, they have no picks they can trade. And so I think they can trade their 2029 first, and that's it. And so that's, to me, a stumbling block for them.
They're full of young players. Picks shouldn't be the only consideration. But
Hornets take Brandon Miller with the number 2 pick. He's a 6'9 forward who loves Paul George and is expected to fit better alongside LaMelo. Will Charlotte regret this pick?
Oh, yeah, obviously. I mean, and it's not a shot on Brandon Miller. But, I mean, it's not. I just think Scoot's going to be a far, far better player. And I also think that sometimes something is not everything, but it's not nothing. And they showed the draft party, and you know who was disappointed?
This is where you get your takes from. Show it, please.
This is not a bad take.
This is
20
who's
minutes in the
influencing
show.
your mindset.
Look, the Hornet is sad.
The Hornets been
This
grinding.
is a serious sports show. Really? I'm supposed to. Oh my gosh! The mascot doesn't like the pick.
Hold on a second. I feel like that's an unfair comment that you know is not. I said going into yesterday. Have I said all along that Scoot should go number 2?
Yes.
Have I said yesterday that I thought that Jordan was going to, because the betting odds had changed, almost make the right decision out of spite about Brandon Miller? So I am not saying, I feel this way because the fuzzy Hornet guy feels
It's just
that way. It's just another piece of evidence.
Bullet in the
It's
gun.
on the board of things that are not great about this pick.
No,
that
it ain't.
even your mascot is
shouldn't even be
disappointed.
in there.
Even your mascot's disappointed. I think
Who
everyone.
in the world do you think Scoot Henderson's going to be?
Here's what I think. I think that they didn't draft him because they're like, we have LaMelo. And I think the Hornets have been making bad decision after bad decision like that for 20 years. Like, we have this player here, so take the best player. Okay. I think Scoot was the best player.
Look, I think they made the right pick. LaMelo Ball is better than Scoot Henderson. Scoot Henderson can't shoot the 3. He's not like a true point guard in terms of dishing out assists. High motor. He's a 6'2 guy. I don't want to say volume shooter, but he shot 42% from the floor. He didn't get to the free throw line in the G League, didn't impact winning in the G League. I'm not saying he's not going to be anything. I'm just saying we talking about Scoot Henderson like he's about to lead a team to a championship.
No,
he's not.
I'm talking about him like he's better than Brandon Miller.
Not ever.
I'm talking about like he's better than Brandon Miller, and he's better than LaMelo Ball.
No, he's not. LaMelo Ball was 23 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds last year. Shoots the 3 better, passes the ball better than Scoot, and now look, Brandon Miller, I know I've given him a lot of flack for thinking Paul George is better than Paul George even thinks he is. But he plays like Paul George. This dude handles the rock. He can shoot it. He's got a nice jump shot. He's got moxie. Talk back to Jordan. I like that attitude. Brandon Miller is a good player. He was a point guard in high school.
Would Portland trade Scoot for LaMelo? Maybe that can be Dame's running mate then. If that'd be a good trade, right?
I would not trade LaMelo for Scoot.
Okay. I think that's
LaMelo Ball is nice, dude.
Okay. I disagree.
What other than injuries, what's been the problem with LaMelo? He's a better court vision than Scoot. He's more of a true point, but yet shoots it better. Taller.
Impacting winning.
He was hurt last year. He just played 3 seasons.
All right, I will
Scoot
take.
Don't
Listen,
come in and impact winning. He didn't even do that in the G League.
Okay, I'm not going to hold the G League Ignite against him.
I'm just saying. Is he ever going to lead it? He's 6'2". And can't
what I'm saying is, hold on, somebody, Dustin, mark it on our calendar. 5 years from now,
Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson.
Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson, LaMelo Ball. I'll take Scoot as the top of that pyramid in 5 years.
Here's the thing. Yeah. I'm not saying Scoot might not be better than Brandon Miller, but I'm saying it'll be close enough
that the fit matters.
Yes, because Scoot's not about to take over the league.
I understand, and LaMelo Ball won't be on the Hornets for another 4 years.
Why not?
Because they're going to get new ownership that's going to actually try to build a winner. That's why.
Wow.
CP3 on the Warriors. Next on
I guess
FS1.
23, 8, and 6 isn't what it used to be.
Not on that. No, it's not. It's not, bro.
Hey, college football fans, Joel Klatt here, and I am so happy to announce my new interview series, The Joel Klatt Show Big Noon Conversations. Every Monday, we will bring you a candid conversation with the most influential voices in college football. From Colorado's Coach Prime to Coach Saban down in Tuscaloosa, we sit down and discuss all things college football. Download The Joel Klatt Show Big Noon Conversations wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to the new Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel.
Turning our attention to Chris Paul and the Warriors, which is just kind of confusing to all of us. He was asked about his role with the team, and here's what he said.
What is your reaction to being traded to Golden State today?
I'm excited. I got that question I don't know how many times already, so I'm really excited.
You spoke with Steph, it sounds like, already, and how did that go?
It was good, yeah.
What do you think your role will be on that team?
To help us win games.
Okay, just to Chris's defense, since he was asked that question several times, I went back to try to find it, and he sat down with Lindsey Zarniak, and his full quote was, I was excited to get a chance to play for a franchise like that with the players they have. It's crazy how life comes full circle. And he said it with more enthusiasm.
It's an odd time for him to be on a book tour. If people don't know, he's on a book tour right when he got traded the first time and the second time. So he's doing a lot of kind of pre-scheduled interview stuff.
But that didn't seem like the most enthusiastic response, so I wanted to clear
Okay, I don't think it's a basketball fit for the Warriors. We talked about that yesterday, and I thought Nick brought up a great point that now a lot of people have talked about is financially it was get off the Jordan Poole deal. We got a 1-year deal for Chris Paul, so that's fine. But the only basketball advantage I think this gives them is if, like, they were bad when Steph was out of the game this year. Horrible, actually. So now if Chris Paul's running the second unit, you would think that they'll be pretty good. They'll be able to maintain leads and things like that when Chris is running the second unit. I don't like it. It doesn't make sense to me for Golden State. He plays slow. They want to play fast. But I don't even like it for Chris because I think he's still, even at 38, is a starting caliber point guard on a really good team.
Yeah.
And so now I think he's going to be coming off the bench if they keep him.
So you keep saying so.
How's he going to start?
Well, so let's talk about both these things. How good is Chris Paul? Well, let's not historically, but right now, in 2021.
But Nick, you can't go.
No, I'm going to go each year. I'm just going to show the trajectory, and we can see where we think he landed. 2021, he was 5th in MVP voting. Some smart people thought he was league MVP. He even got a couple first-place votes. He got a couple first-place votes, sir, and I'm not even a voter. I'm not a voter.
A couple is 2.
They made the finals. 2022, he got MVP votes. Again, no first place. He was All-NBA. That's the year before this one. Last year, he was the second-best player on a decent team and then became the third-best player on a team that was the Vegas favorite briefly to win the championship. Yep. That's his last 3 years. And now we are saying
top 5 in assists.
Yeah. That's the other thing. And the year before last, he led the league in assists. Now we're saying he's coming off the bench. So I know Wilds, you're usually, have Josh grinding the all 10 and doing a lot of work.
22.
I had Josh,
look at the bench players
all
too,
20, the whole thing. I had Josh, he spent like 45 minutes building this for us, but it's Chris Paul's career. Starts and off the bench.
Oh, good. That was good, Josh.
So
you watched
it's
all
0.
those games.
Well, I watched them all. He was on 100x speed. I even went back and checked college. Wake Forest, one game he came off the bench. I think it's because he had punched someone in the groin. I don't know. I didn't check. I'm just guessing.
No, he was suspended for a half, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly, for the Julius Hodge thing. And in high school, I'm going to guess it's 0.
How's he starting?
But how's he not?
What's the starting lineup?
So this is why it's weird. I agree with you, Brew, that the fit, it's like, wait, huh? But if he's not starting, do you think he's finishing?
No. I mean, sometimes.
So
that's
sometimes.
weird.
That's weird. Depends on the game.
I got one other thing for you, and I know you love trivia. He's the 40th highest paid guy in the league, okay? One guy who makes more than him doesn't start. You know who it is? It's Ben Simmons. So Guys that make.
But Nick, give me the lineup.
I agree with you, but that's why.
And not only the lineup, the style of play. He's a pick and roll guy. They've run the least amount of pick and rolls in the league with Steve Kerr as the head coach.
I know it sounds like we're disagreeing. We actually agree on all of this. What I'm saying is that's why it's weird, right?
Okay. Yeah.
That's why it is. I do think in a vacuum, it's like, okay, Jordan Poole, who I was a very strong critic of, felt was not playable in the playoffs. You're replacing him with one of the best true point guards ever, even, at an old age, still knows how to run a team. In that regard, for this season, it clearly makes you better. But then in the regard of how are the personalities going to fit, is Chris Paul going to be okay with being a bench player and not a finishing player for the first time in his basketball life?
Right.
But why did
he's got to understand he's 38.
Why did Jordan Poole get moved? The same team won the finals. Jordan Poole got punched in the face. The vibes were off. Trust was off. The chemistry was off. So Jordan Poole had to go. Here's the clip. We didn't mention this yesterday, and it bothered me, so I brought it back today. This is the exchange from March. Steph Curry hits this layup on Chris Paul. And remember, he was walking back, and he said, it's not 2014 anymore. And then Chris Paul was asked about it. Take a listen.
No, I don't know about that 2014. I ain't trying to be funny. I promise I don't know. Y'all got to ask him. I don't know what happened in 2014.
So, Brew, they've been rivals for a long time. And even though Chris Paul has put it on the back burner, it is still on the front burner for Steph to the point that he mentions it in the game. So do you expect now the team that had issues with their chemistry and vibe and trust all of a sudden to be like, hey, your arch enemy, I know, figuratively, is now going to be on the bench and backing you up? Do you think they are both able to thrive in that environment?
The only way it would be a problem is if Chris really, I'm coming off the bench. I'm not accepting this. Outside of that, which I don't think Chris would do, I think he'd be professional. I don't see it being a problem. We've met a world peace, and Kobe went nose to nose, almost got in a fight. Kobe, they get him on the Lakers,
Yeah, but that's different in that
great.
they were
Matt
never.
Barnes,
but
they're not the guy.
Right. Those guys
Steph,
were
there's
never.
no competition. As great as Chris Paul is, he ain't Steph.
No,
he's
but-
in a whole lesser category than Steph Curry.
Agreed.
That's the problem.
Agree. Hold on. But he is in.
If I'm Steph,
Brew.
I'm not.
No. But he is
having no
in the
issue with Chris
category of one of the greatest players of all time, which
But
met a
he's
world
beneath
peace,
Steph
and that's
by far.
fine. But you understand the difference. You get what Wildes is saying. That it is.
It was an issue with Durant. When Durant showed up, there was vibe problems. When you have great players there.
With the Warriors?
Yes, well, he left the team.
Well, that was the second, third year when Draymond went at him.
I know.
Well, but that was 3 years in.
Sure.
Initially, it was fine.
I'm saying that team thrives when everyone is coalesced perfectly. And when there's friction, they can't get through it. So
look, they don't need Chris Paul. That's the fact.
So that's the other
maybe
thing
I
that
don't know
wanted.
if what the rules are regarding the trade, but
go ahead. No, go.
That's the other. I'm going to take in a different direction. But before that, Wildes also had a really smart point, I thought, on Twitter that I didn't know if you wanted on television, but it's on Twitter, so it's the public. It's in the public
I do now.
sphere.
I do. I didn't
Post
see
your
this one.
favorite Welcome to the Warriors CP3 social media message from a current Warriors player or Warriors legend below. Cue spare piano spooky music.
Yeah, it's like Unsolved Mysteries. Like, doom, doom.
Oh, okay, got it.
You're a rabble route.
And so, look at that, Brew. If you would go to it, he would get to 20,000 views. It'd be a peak. And so he's 19.9. Look at it now.
Doesn't it seem odd there hasn't been a... Wow. Oh. We got Chris Paul.
I'll say this. The Warriors have been one of the most intelligent teams in basketball history. Let's just keep it real. They know. We don't know more about basketball than they do. They know. How's this fit?
Well, right. And the other thing is, even if I thought Jordan Poole needed to be moved, it did feel like the Warriors, one of their big issues, I agree with you that when Steph went to the bench, the team didn't work, but with size. And it's like, John Collins has been on the trade market for 5 years. Miles Turner's been on the trade market for 2 years. Wouldn't those, if you're going to use the asset of moving on from Jordan Poole,
I agree.
Wouldn't those have made a little more sense? So I don't know. It is, and I do think they got better. in the moment. But it is a very odd fit because, to your point on the tweet, there seemed to be more excitement when they signed Boogie Cousins a few years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, they got, and so it's a weird thing to me.
The whole thing is odd.
It is.
Odd.
It is.
Coming up next, should the Mavs run it back with Kyrie? Does anyone say yes?
Nick does. Nick loves the Mavericks.
What are
love
you?
him.
He thought they'd win the championship.
Oh my.
Baseball is back, and so is Flippin' Bats.
5 times a week, Monday through Friday.
So follow us on the Fox Sports app, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
NBA champion Dallas Mavericks. What, Josh? Oh, that's embarrassing. They didn't win the NBA championship. They tanked.
They won the same number of playoff games. For the record, they won the same number of playoff games as Bruce champion picked
At least
the Brooklyn
my team
Nets.
got to the
and got
playoffs.
swept.
But they got there.
Just go ahead.
They were in the tournament.
They got Duke center Derek Lively at 12. Bertans is gone, but Kyrie still might be a Maverick. Here's Mark Cuban. We want to sign him, and hopefully he wants to come back. I'm not going to handicap anymore. I learned my lesson last year. It's not Kyrie or bust, but we want to keep him.
Yeah.
Nick, is this a good idea for your world champs?
Okay, I'm sorry. I picked the wrong team last year. My deepest of apologies.
They didn't even make the play-in.
We all know.
I'm just saying,
We all know. Like Bruce,
Basically like
Super
the
Bowl
Spurs.
picked the Packers, missed the playoffs. Like we all have had embarrassing picks. Wilds, frisky Pelicans. Really?
The Cardinals and the Raiders.
Okay, so there we go. Yeah, let's get him. There you go. They boxed themselves in.
Dustin.
They have. Okay, go.
The Mavs have boxed, they can't let him walk. What are they going to do? What are the plans? Let him walk and throw the money at James Harden? No thanks. And that's not even the place in Texas he'd want to go to. Let him, the Lakers could get him with listen, you guys know I'm not the biggest Kyrie Irving fan, but a D'Angelo Russell sign-in trade is a disaster for the Mavs.
Right.
And so they have no choice. And I do like the things they did yesterday, by the way. They moved down 2 spots, and that let them get off Bertans' money, create a trade exception, which then allowed them to use that trade exception to bring in Rashawn Holmes and get the 25th pick out of it. So I know everyone hated them tanking, but that tanking allowed them to get 2 first-round picks, essentially, and add Rashawn Holmes and get off Davis Bertans. But yeah, it's all going to come down to if Luka has a monster season and finds a way to either make it fit with Kyrie or they move Kyrie during the year. But they can't lose him for nothing. They've got no choice.
I'm with you, and I love what Cuban said. It's not Kyrie or bust, but we want him back.
Yeah.
That's sober, right? Because all this talk about a 4-year deal, a 3-year max deal. You know what Leverage does Kyrie have? And I get all the talk about you got to give him a contract where he's going to be happy. He might not be happy no matter what. So if I'm them, I'm like 2-year deal, max, team option for the 2nd year. Like, give me a proven deal.
That's a 1-year deal.
Right, but 1 year guarantee. Because here, first of all, again, Kyrie has no leverage, and I get it. You don't want to make him mad, but 1 year, like, I'm not certain about, obviously, Kyrie off the court. But on the court, it might not be a fit. So if I sign him to a 1-year max deal, I'm giving you max money for a year, and we have a team option for the 2nd year. Kyrie has to go out and play well, not only individually, but we have to win. You might not be a fit with Luka. So then maybe we have to move on. But what leverage does Kyrie have? Where's he going?
I'm just not taking a 1-year deal.
I don't think. Well, and
so what's he going to do?
Brew, I don't think they're going to offer him a 1-year deal.
2 years. I just don't want to, because I don't know if he fits. What if he comes in, you give him 3 years, and you still play horribly with him?
Well, then
you're stuck with.
But then you trade him
on a max deal.
I think Kyrie, if the concern for the Mavs, I think would not be if you give him the extension and the team's not good. I think if that happens, he's tradable. The concern for the Mavs is you give him a max deal and he has another incident. And it has another off-the-court something that happens to where that, to me, is what would make him untradeable or kill you on that. You guys are correct in excoriating me for not only picking the Mavs for the year, but what do they call me, Wilds?
Mr. Consistency.
Not abandoning abandoning them when this trade happened as I should have. But what I said when it happened was this was going to be the first domino of Luka leaving Dallas. I still believe that. But there is no off-ramp at this point. Would I rather, do I wish, because I love Luka, that you could wave a magic wand and trade Kyrie for Bam? Yeah, I do. I think that's a great fit in Dallas, and I think if Miami was slightly worse run, they might be like, well, we do need scoring, and you know what I mean? Like that's
but
the salaries work.
Why don't they seek sign and trades?
Yeah, but
really get out there and seek sign and trade.
I'm all for that. I'm 100% for that. I just don't. I think there is a very limited Kyrie marketplace.
That's my point.
Right, and so
I
think they've boxed themselves in, man. Okay. And so
5-11 with Luka and Kyrie together.
I understand, but that was pre-skinny Luka. Large adult Slovenian son has gotten in quite a good shape.
He's running
I think
up
he
those
is
stairs.
coming with a vengeance.
Yeah.
I think this year individually he's coming with a vengeance.
He didn't play a bunch of international basketball. Tired him out a little bit.
Yeah. And no playoff basketball.
Not even regular season. The Bills have extended head coach Sean McDermott and GM Brandon Beane through 2027. Brew, last time we talked about Sean McDermott, he said Stephon Diggs missing practice was a big deal, and then the following day he said, no, not a big deal at all. I actually excused him. What are you guys here? Why are you asking me any questions? Do you like this?
No. And I'm not, look, I like Sean McDermott. He's done a very good job in Buffalo. But he already was extended through 2025. Like he had 2 years left on his, or 3 left on his deal. And I actually think, I'm not going to say he should be on the hot seat at all. But if they underachieve, Nick, this year, then I would be like, do we need to go in a different direction? I think teams take on the personality of their coach, and I think they have shown a tendency to be soft.
Hold on.
Like if they get in, last year they struggled with Skylar Thompson and the Miami Dolphins in the playoffs, and then got ransacked by the Bengals, who are obviously a good team, but still, you should have been able to play with them, especially in the snow.
Of course.
So I'm just,
I just love what Brew was very clear there. I'm not saying he's on the hot seat. I am saying if they underachieve, they should fire him.
No, that's the hot seat. I was saying if they underachieve, it's got to be a conversation.
That's the hot seat.
That's the hot seat.
No, but he doesn't start the year on the hot seat. But if it goes south,
okay,
he starts 0-2.
Starts warming up. No, not 0-2. But I fully if they don't win the division. Or they finish third in the division?
Well, third.
So I think the rub is this, because I think Sean McDermott's a good coach. The rub is, in today's NFL, if you have a star quarterback, which a lot of people think they do.
Not you.
I said a lot of people.
You don't think you don't think he's a star?
A lot of people. I could be in that group. I might not be.
You're
Who
not.
knows?
Just say it with your chest.
The point that I'm trying to make before these interruptions was, if you have a star quarterback, does it ever make sense to have a defensive-minded head coach? Because how much of your team's success is going to rise and fall with your offensive coordinator? And then if you have massive success, you then lose that offensive coordinator and have to do that again. So now I understand, that Tomlin is a defensive head coach, but they don't have a star quarterback anymore, right?
Tom Brady did okay.
Yes, but that was, to me is a very unique situation because they have the greatest coach of all time, right?
Sure.
And Brady at some point kind of became the offensive coordinator. So I think using Brady or Jordan or LeBron is like, well, it worked for those types of guys. So I just think the Bills are in a weird spot because I think, and by the way, the Chargers as well.
I think you agree with me.
The Chargers have a defensive head coach with a star quarterback, and so I just think it's a rough spot.
I like that. That's an interesting take.
That was a roundabout.
Of course, they're all interesting takes. You guys, you're out here making jokes. Brew's bringing up predictions from 2012. I'm here with interesting takes.
Mac Jones had a defensive coordinator. Bills open up the season with their star quarterback against the New York Jets. Here's Josh Allen on facing Aaron Rodgers.
I've been such a fan of him, as a little kid, having Aaron Rodgers jerseys and trying to emulate what he does on the football field. And, he's such a special player. I think he's the most gifted thrower of the football of all time. And to now be going against him twice a year, and, it's going to be battle.
All right, shout out to Kevin Clark, who's great.
And he got him in between
I don't know why John's still wearing shoulder pads. But I'm not sure this was ever true. I'm not sure it was ever true. I'm not sure that Peyton? Marino and Peyton, I think, maybe either one of them. But I know now it's not true. You can't call someone the tallest person ever to live because at one point they were, but if now there's an 8'9" guy walking around, you can't. He's not. Patrick Mahomes exists in the world, so this is now on its face false. So yeah, I have a problem with it.
Mahomes throws a prettier ball than Aaron Rodgers?
I think Mahomes is the most gifted passer ever. Yes. I don't think there's a single thing Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers can do that Mahomes can't.
As the first guy on record to say he could be the GOAT, I feel like I must address this. Yes, Nick is right.